everyone, welcome to GemChem. Now today's video is on ionic bonding part 7 video, and here we are going to deal with relation between radius ratio and bond angle and the application of radius ratio. Now here we are dealing with the applications in the form of questions and answers, and few applications will be dealt in this particular video and the next ones will come in the next videos. Right. Now before starting, already 6 videos are uploaded in channel. You can watch it. I will give the link in the description box as well as the I button present about this video. And if you are new to GemChem, do not forget to subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon for regular updates. Now let us start. Now first, we are going to derive the relationship between radius ratio and bond angle. Considering an ion pair where a tangent of the anion present here, these are the anions. We are taking as the green ones as the anions and these blue ones as the cations. So anions passes through the center of the cation. That is, this is our tangent which is passing through the center of the cation. Now BC is taken to be as R plus, that is radius of the cation, whereas DC and DH, which is this two, is R minus. Now if we consider this bond angle, that is DBH, as alpha, then sin alpha comes to be as DH by BD. Now this BD can be obtained as DH by sin alpha. Now if we want to know the value of BC, we can write it as BD minus DC. So ultimately it comes to be as DC 1 by sin alpha minus 1. And if we do the ratio of BC by DC, then we can get 1 by sin alpha minus 1. And this comes to be as R plus by R minus, which is our radius ratio. And this is the relation derived for the radius ratio with the bond angle, where 2 alpha is taken as the bond angle. So alpha plus another alpha in this side gives us the bond angle. Now we will see the applications of radius ratio. Now what is radius ratio and what is its rule is already taught in the previous video. So you must watch it first and then come to this video. Otherwise explanation might get tough for you to understand. Now see here, U0, that is lattice energy, is proportional to Z plus Z minus product, and U0 is also proportional to 1 by R plus R minus. Now from Born-Lande equation we can say that higher the magnitude of the charges over the cation and anion, higher will be the magnitude of lattice energy, and hence corresponding lattice is expected to be stable from this relation. The ionic character of the compound is also expected to be higher if we see this relation. From this we can obtain that more the lattice energy, more will be the ionic character. In a similar way, if size of the cation and anion is smaller, the magnitude of the lattice energy will increase and the corresponding compound will have ionic character higher. So if we can consider that the size of the cation and anion are smaller, then we are having an ionic character. Now we have to answer 2 questions. First is, whose lattice will be more stable? Magnesium oxide and NaF. Whose lattice will be more stable and which one will be more ionic? Right. Now if we see the charges, then here magnesium oxide has Z plus as 2 and oxygen has Z minus as 2. Whereas sodium has Z plus as 1 and fluorine has Z plus as Z minus as 1. So if we consider this magnesium oxide and sodium fluoride, the size of the anions in both cases are very small, that is oxide and fluoride. Thus they cannot be readily polarized. Okay. Now this polarization concept we will derive from the Fajans rule, which we will see 2 videos later. Okay. Now hence these both of them will have substantial ionic character. Both of them will be having ionic character. Now for magnesium oxide we have seen that this Z plus and Z minus is 2, while for sodium fluoride it is 1 1. Thus from Born-Lande equation we can write that the magnitude of lattice energy in magnesium oxide will be higher as compared to sodium fluoride. Hence magnesium oxide will form more stable lattice having greater ionic character as compared to sodium fluoride. Clear? This is the explanation for this. So we are having magnesium oxide being more stable lattice. Now you have to remember that if the size of the cation and anion are close to each other, then the packing in the crystal lattice will be more efficient, and corresponding to that, their lattice is expected to be more stable. And this thing can answer our next question, that is, among KCl, KBr and Ki, which has least packing efficiency? You have to remember, if the size of cations and anions are close to each other, then the radius ratio will be also higher. This will in result cause the increase in the coordination number of cation, that is, the extent of close packing will increase. Packing between the cation and anion will become more efficient, and hence ionic character of the compound will increase. Thus, the increase in the coordination number of the cation greater, there will be extent of greater close packing and ultimately greater ionic character. So if you follow here, then one which has least packing efficiency is that K and I. There is a huge difference between the size of the cation and anion. Anion is huge in size, whereas a cation is small in size. So ultimately we are having the least packing efficiency in Ki. This is our answer, Ki. Now we will see the application part of radius ratio rule in the form of points. Now first application is prediction of geometry of crystals. Now this part we will not deal in this particular video, as we have not still covered the ionic crystal types, which we will see in the next video, and this application will be also covered in the next video. But now we will deal with the second application in details, that is prediction of thermal stabilities of ionic compounds, and this is very important. Now you have to remember that if the radius ratio is low and it is much lesser than 0.22, then the packing will be less efficient, and hence for such compounds thermal stability will be much lesser. Okay, so if you are having radius ratio low, then your thermal stability is also low. Now this is the ultimate question for this video. Why is Li2CO3 or BeSO3 thermally unstable? Same, this is the answer for this particular question. For both cases, the radius ratio is much less than 0.22. It is due to this ineffective packing between the cations and anions, which we have seen that if radius ratio is less, then there will be ineffective packing, inefficient packing. The corresponding lattice will not be stable and hence will be readily dissociated to form corresponding oxides and carbon dioxide. So these are the dissociated products, right? Now the last application is that the tendency of the cation to form hydrated salt, and this will be dealt with in the next video. So this much for today. Hope it was helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe and comment.